Hey everybody, it's Laurel coming to you live from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and it is my weekly update video, this being week 12 on February 22nd, 2011. Yep, 12 weeks. Hard to believe. Time sure does fly when you're having fun. Um, Things are going really, really well. I'm down, I think it's 2.5 pounds. I should have looked, but nonetheless, I'm down to 210. I can hardly believe that. Well, I can believe it actually based on how baggy my clothes are, which is fun, but it's not really fun when you have something to go out to and you have no pants to wear. Um, and belts can only do so much. Baggy bum pants doesn't look very nice. Uh, Nonetheless, I feel really good, and so far since the beginning, my highest weight ever was 273. I started my liquid diet on November 8th, and I was 260 pounds. On the 29th of November, that was my surgery day, I was 245 and a half, I think, or 245. And so now I'm down to 210. So since the beginning of all this, I've lost 50 pounds. Um, and that when I think about lifting up a 50-pound bag of potatoes, or basically a grade threer, I think, wow, that's no wonder I feel so good. Um, what can I tell you? In addition to, so every 4 weeks, I've been doing my measurements. And I did do my measurements today, and I have my little cheat sheet here because I'm keeping it in a little journal thing. So each uh, 4 weeks, I mark down my measurements of my weight. Um, but in total, I have lost 1.5 inches off my neck, 2 inches off my right arm, 3.5 inches off my chest, 5.5 inches off my waist, 5.5 inches off my hips, 4 inches off my right thigh, and 1 inch off my calf. Um, it's a total of 23 inches. That blows me away. So that's really all I have to tell you about my update. For those of you who are curious, my son has had some of his test results come back. We're still waiting on some other ones to rule out some possible nasty things, but he is gaining weight, which is a really a blessing. But some of his blood test results came back not so great, and his bone scan wasn't so great either. He has osteopenia, which is sort of the precursor to osteoporosis, but no given explanation because his calcium levels, his mineral levels, everything, his vitamin D, everything is excellent. And his bones are releasing an enzyme. Like if you bang your arm or you have a blow to a bone and it tries to self repair a little bit, not if a bone is broken, but if a bone is damaged at all or has a trauma, it releases this enzyme called telopeptide, and his telopeptide levels are like 15 times higher than what they should be. So anyway, we're just, I'm not going to use the word because I don't want to think negatively, but at almost 14, he's at a sort of the ripe age where they start looking at things like osteocarcinoma, so bone cancer. God forbid. And I'm sure because he's gaining weight that they'll eventually rule that out, but I don't know what. I'm just waiting at this point to hear. And he looks good, he feels good, so that's that. I did want to mention, because somebody had asked, at this point, 3 months out seems to be the magic number when people start noticing a bit of hair loss. And I have a lot of hair. I have very fine hair, but I have a ton of hair, aside from my roots showing and quite a few grays. Yeah, I've noticed it thinning a little bit. Not a lot. And mostly just around like the temples and the hairline. Pretty normal. Um, Not any more than what I've ever lost in the past, having had a general anesthetic. That has a lot to do with it too, just from a trauma to your system. But and I'll put in a picture. You're not ever going to hear me complain about losing my hair. Um, when I lost my hair from my chemotherapy treatments, I think I have a couple of pictures of when I was bald, but um,
they're actually my driver's license and healthcare card came up for renewal, and I wanted to make the point that you know, hair doesn't make you who you are, and your beauty really comes from within. Um, and it's hard when you've lost all of your hair. But harder than even losing all of your hair was losing, I found for me anyway, was losing my eyebrows, losing my eyelashes. Um, you just, it was really, for me, it was demoralizing because it didn't matter what I tried to do. I couldn't feel good about myself during those days. So you heard it here first. You're not going to hear from me that I'm complaining about losing my hair, because I've been on the other end of it and been sick and fighting for my life when I lost my hair, and this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing to deal with. Now, having said that, I don't, I hope I don't lose clumps of it. But when your hair comes out in clumps, um, I can tell you it's actually quite painful. It was uncomfortable when I lost my hair because it doesn't just come out a few pieces at a time. It literally comes out in like handfuls. But like the girls would know what I'm talking about with this. When you have your hair in a big ponytail and it's there for like a couple of days and you take it out and then your scalp feels kind of funny, like it hurts a little bit. Well, that's what your head feels like when you lose your hair quite suddenly and all at once. Um, anyway, I'm not wanting to talk about losing hair anymore. And I'm not to say that, people who are losing their hair during this process aren't affected by it, but, you know, this little saying, suck it up, buttercup. Um, Suck it up, buttercups, because it can be a lot worse. Love yous. That's all I have to say for this week. Cheers. Bye for now.